Good evening. Welcome to this evening's Yukon City Council and Yukon Municipal Authority meetings. It is November the 4th, 2025, approximately 7 p.m. We're gathered here in City Council chambers in the Centennial Building at 12 South 5th Street in the great city of Yukon, Oklahoma. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Brian Pillmore.
Here.
Jeff Wooten.
Here.
Shelley Selby.
Here.
Adam Shriver. Rodney Zimmerman.
Here.
Where's Adam?
I wasn't used to my first and last name there. At this time, we'll have our invocation delivered by Pastor Tim Cox of Life Church, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise as you are able.
Well, Heavenly Father, we are thankful for the day and that we get to gather together freely. And so, Father, we do give you thanks for how you're working in our city and our community. And God, we pray for wisdom with our government officials, for their leadership. And God, we do pray for unity within our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for joining us this evening. This evening, we do not have any presentations or proclamations. At this time, we'll recess as Yukon City Council and reconvene as Yukon Municipal Authority. We'll take up the YMA consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so that the Yukon Municipal Authority, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. Should the authority determine that any item cannot be approved by unanimous vote, that item will be removed from the consent docket and considered separately. The city manager recommends a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2025, and approve the 2026 Yukon Municipal Authority meeting schedule. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve an agreement between the City of Yukon, Oklahoma and Yukon Municipal Authority, collectively referred to as Yukon, and the City of Bethany, Oklahoma and Bethany Public Works Authority, collectively referred to as Bethany, regarding testing of water wells. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve a 2025 agreement by and between the City of Oklahoma City, a municipal corporation, the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, OCEDT, a public trust whose sole beneficiary is Oklahoma City, the City of Yukon, a municipal corporation, and the Yukon Municipal Authority, YMA, a public trust whose sole beneficiary is Yukon, collectively the parties. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten.
Yes.
Selby.
Yes.
Zimmerman.
Yes.
Pillmore.
Yes. At this time, we'll recess as Yukon Municipal Authority and reconvene as Yukon City Council. Similarly, we'll take up the same item on the Yukon City Council side. We'll have a discussion and possible action to approve a 2025 agreement by and between the City of Oklahoma City, a municipal corporation, the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, a public trust whose sole beneficiary is Oklahoma City, the City of Yukon, a municipal corporation, and the Yukon Municipal Authority, a public trust whose sole beneficiary is Yukon, collectively the parties. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Well, we'll wait for any
Okay,
discussion.
thank you. Amy McAllister, 14175 West Highway 66. So in the agreement with Oklahoma City, item 6 here on the agenda, it seems like we are kind of selling ourselves short. We're giving an awful lot to Oklahoma City, and we're getting 2 parcels of land over by Ranchwood and Yukon Parkway. Is that correct? Is that how I read it?
And also, we're redefining the revenue sharing agreement to eliminate any and all revenue sharing requirements
Okay.
on all of these parcels,
Okay.
which eliminates the half of the sales tax that was having to be shared on the Frisco Road parcel.
Okay.
And also, the only restriction remaining is a restriction on retail power centers at the Frisco Road property. There's no other restrictions on all the other properties.
Okay, so that was my other question. It seems like we are 100% focused on the data center concept because in the agreement, it clearly says we absolutely, under no circumstances, can have any type of retail over 125,000 square feet, no big box stores, nothing. So my question is what if the data center and all of the due diligence falls through? Are we going to have to renegotiate this agreement again with Oklahoma City so that we can do something?
We can discuss it again, but that restriction on retail power centers already exists, and it's really a non-starter. This agreement's been renegotiated. This is the third variation on this agreement, and that particular clause of the agreement, the restriction on retail power centers, is something that Oklahoma City was hard and fast on when we annexed this property into the city of Yukon. So if we rewind the clock, the acquisition of these two parcels of property that make up the Frisco Road property by Yukon back in the 2014 timeframe, forgive my timeline approximation, that Oklahoma City allowed us to bring that into our city limits in the same way that we're allowing Oklahoma City to take the industrial land that they want around C.E. Page Airport into their city limits. But at that time, they said, no way can, in the 2014 timeframe, no way can you have a retail power center. What they didn't want that to come on, for us to bring that into our city limits and say, hey, we're going to build a park or we're going to build a sports complex or whatever, and then immediately turn around and bring a Costco that would in their minds, prevent them from having that on their side of the border. So, long story short, the most significant change here is the elimination of the sales tax sharing and the bringing in of the two parcels that are immediately across the street from Yukon High School. Those two parcels of land next to Covenant Community Church and heading towards the south really form a good chunk of the Yukon Parkway corridor that, if developed in Oklahoma City limits, would significantly impact our sales tax generation. It's a key area that Councilman Zimmerman, this being in his ward, has focused on for the last 11 months in negotiation with Oklahoma City. So, yeah, I mean, if you measure it in pure acreage, you might say, oh, this acreage doesn't equal this acreage, but it's a little different than just a pure, pluses and minuses of acreage.
But getting the sales tax removal part is not going to benefit us if there's a data center, because there is no sales tax.
Right.
So really, that's just a.
Okay. Okay. It just seemed like we are 100% going down the data center as if it's a done deal. And I just think it seems a little short-sighted to totally cut retail out, even though I understand with the current agreement, we'd have to share 50% of the revenue.
It's not cutting out retail.
I get it.
It's not cutting out retail entirely. It cuts out retail power centers. And that's and now finally, as opposed to the last two versions of this agreement, that was an undefined term. And so finally, in this agreement, there's a clear definition of what retail power centers are. There's many types of retail that do not qualify as a retail power center. So it definitely does not eliminate the opportunity for retail here. It actually clarifies things and eliminates that profit sharing of any hotel, motel, or sales tax.
Does this also address the acreage along Frisco Road to the west of Frisco Road? There's a strip of land that I know long ago, we talked about developing it for retail. Does that includes all of that land, correct?
Which land are you referring to?
So along Route 66 and Frisco Road, directly to the south, on the east end of that mile, on the west side of Frisco, you know where the water tower's at?
I do know where the
Okay,
water tower is.
and if you're driving north on the left side of Frisco, on the west side of Frisco, I thought there was some frontage there that we had talked about
Okay,
possibly
yeah.
developing. Is that gone now? That would be part of the data center.
That is a part
agreement.
of is a part of that purchase and sale agreement with the
Okay.
data center. You're right. So there's a few different kind of confusing legal descriptions, because in the old versions of this particular agreement, there's two actual parcels. If you look up the Canadian county records, there's two parcels that are defined that make up that Frisco Road parcel. And there was a piece that was actually parceled out to the south and is in Oklahoma City limits. That confuses matters even worse, because originally I think it was, forgive my acreage here, but I'll do it from memory, like 260 acres and then, or 240 acres and 60 or 55
Right,
or 60 was
58 and a half.
yeah, there you go. 58 and a half was carved off, remaining 184 and a half, more or less. And that's actually in 2 parcels. To make matters more confusing, they took the frontage and they defined a TIF.
Yeah.
And that TIF wasn't activated. So that makes things even more confusing because it's an unactivated TIF that's defined on that frontage parcel. Or it's not even a real parcel. There's a legal definition of land. The bottom line is, I don't know that definition of land really matters other than if we were to activate that TIF.
Right, okay, so it's all part really of the data center proposed
Yeah, the
agreement.
2 parcels are in that data center definition in the purchase and sale agreement with Beltline Energy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Guess who, Ashley?
Oh.
Stephanie Burdine, 515 Maple. Okay, I wasn't planning on addressing this subject, but now I have a couple questions. Did you even ask about retail stuff? I mean, what did you all negotiate? So we can't build a Costco still?
That restriction remains. That was not
so-
able to, we did ask. The short
So
answer to
that got
is,
negotiated, but didn't get negotiated in?
yeah,
Okay.
the negotiation with Oklahoma City was very fruitful, but it went from taking our initial position, actually, we improved upon our initial position to take things from 15 years to 10 years of revenue sharing. We actually took it from 15 to 10, and then the final negotiations eliminated it entirely. And then on the retail piece, it was really a non-starter.
Well, would you enlighten us on what type of retail then can be built there?
Yeah, anything that doesn't qualify under that retail power center definition that's in this agreement.
Okay, so, and could you, like, tell us what page number that is, since there's only 200 pages?
It's
with-
it's
this,
a
meeting.
40-page agreement, but one second, let me pull it up here. If Roger has it faster than me.
But currently, it's a moot point because we have a contract for the data center.
Well, with a bunch of contingencies,
Right.
though. But Oklahoma City makes a
Right.
decision next week, and, you know, we'll only have 900 acres of data center, that's all.
I heard Oklahoma City was looking at not making their so broad that so tight that data centers couldn't come in.
That's not what I heard from people that attended that meeting, but you can tell me when you find it.
I have it here. We just there's multiple exhibits because we include Exhibit A is one whole exhibit of the prior agreement, which makes it really fun. Where is that definition, Roger? Is it in an appendix or is it in the agreement?
I don't see it in the main body, I think it's in the appendix.
Did someone say page 3?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now I want to find it.
I don't think so, I mean, that's where it is, that's where
I think originally I had it in an appendix and then the Oklahoma City attorneys moved it to
okay,
the
it
body.
does say, it does, she's correct, Jeff. Mayor, it says retail shopping centers are defined for purposes of this 2025 agreement to mean large-scale retail developments exceeding 125,000 square feet of gross leasable area characterized by multiple anchor tenants such as national big box retailers, warehouse clubs, home improvement stores, or discount department stores, and supplemented by smaller retail or service tenants in adjoining inline or pad configurations.
So if you think about retail power centers, they're typically anchored by a very large tenant and then have smaller developments around it. So we have lots of retail that occupies frontage of a property with some other use behind the property that wouldn't qualify under that. Any other questions on this agreement? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore,
Yes. At this time, similar to the YMA item, we'll have discussion and possible action to approve an agreement between City of Yukon, Oklahoma and Yukon Municipal Authority, collectively referred to as Yukon, and the City of Bethany, Oklahoma, the Bethany Public Works Authority, collectively referred to as Bethany, regarding testing of water wells. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
Will this water be well water that was listed at those 3 addresses? Or will this be water that Bethany uses that's terrible?
This is well water that happens to be in the Garber-Wellington Aquifer, and that Bethany already has a well field for that is unused. And this agreement basically allows us to test, is that water any good? How plentiful is that water? And understand it a little bit better.
So this is just to test it to see if it's
Just
any
a
good? since-
small exploration.
Okay, since we all know all the chemicals that were dumped by the airport that, have basically ruined the water over there. So I just wanted to make sure it wasn't something that we were definitely gonna do, that it was gonna be, the water was gonna be tested and to see.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Because
you, Ms.
there is
Byrne.
a very distinct taste between Oklahoma City water, Bethany water, and Yukon water.
Bethany water is terrible.
Amy McAllister. Okay, so as soon as I saw water, I thought, okay, here we go. So I understand and I appreciate us trying to find our water source, because I think, isn't our agreement with Oklahoma City ending sometime in 27, or we haven't determined that yet?
There's some leases that are ending, possibly, but we're in discussions on those. But no, our agreement with Oklahoma City to our take-or-pay agreement lasts for decades longer.
Okay, that's good. So my question then deals with water. I appreciate that we're trying to find another source. So at our August 13th meeting, the city council signed the purchase agreement with BLE Land Holdings, right? So part of that was, if I understand correctly, a 6-month due diligence period. And in that period, we would agree to a water and sewer agreement. And I believe, Mayor, you'd said several times in that meeting that citizens would have a chance to review that agreement before it's signed and put into place. So we have up until February 13th. Is testing for these water wells, is that us trying to find a source so that we'll have enough water for a data center?
No, ma'am. This particular agreement with Bethany is completely unrelated to the data center.
Other than we need water?
We need water for our citizens, regardless of data center.
Okay.
So we're actually looking for possibly half a dozen different sources of water
Okay.
that can help fulfill our needs, unrelated to data center. A good chunk of the data center water we've already identified. We have between 1 and 3 million gallons every day that are coming out of the back of our plant.
Okay.
It's going to require some processing to take that and pressurize it and transport it, about 3.1 miles of water line that would have to be put in to transport that effluent.
That they will pay for?
Yeah, that they
Okay.
will pay for. Not only pay for the transportation, the piping, but also pay for the pressurization and storage on the back of our plant,
Okay.
capital expenditures. So that's completely non-potable water. It's not drinking water. We clean it up, we put it in the river, and then,
It's not Bethany's water? I'm kidding.
well, actually,
So,
I mean, quite literally, it eventually becomes Oklahoma City's water, and we buy it back again.
yeah,
So we might as well use it for these purposes.
sure. So has that water and sewer agreement been signed yet?
Not only not signed, it hasn't even been started.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
so I'll just add one other point on the water agreement. There is a 6-month due diligence period. It can be extended for up to 2 years,
Okay.
I believe, if I recall the agreement properly. And we've, like the water agreement, we're working on learning some things. We've had turnover within our own city of key city staff members, and Rodney Marr is leading our public works department now, and Nick Rice is handling special projects, of which water, wastewater, and data center water, which are all 3 very separate things that are all like we're walking and chewing gum. We're doing all these at the same time. So it takes time, and we want to make sure we have all the ducks in a row before we begin drafting a legal agreement. We're not going to sign up for something that we don't have an absolute certainty of how we're going to provide this without putting our citizens and our community at risk.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on this item? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, could you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore,
Yes. At this time, we'll begin with the Yukon City Council consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so that the City Council, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. Should the council determine that any item cannot be approved by unanimous vote, that item will be removed from the consent docket and considered separately. The city manager recommends a motion that will approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2025, payment of material claims in the amount of $970,130.63, approval of the 2026 City Council meeting schedule, approve the reappointment of Donna Yonda to the Board of Spanish Cove Housing Authority for a 6-year term for office number 4, expiring May 31st, 2031, as recommended by the Spanish Cove Housing Authority Nominating Committee. Approve interlocal agreement between City of Yukon and Bridge Creek Fire Department for the transfer of a 2012 Chevy Tahoe, as recommended by the Fleet Supervisor. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'd like to pull item A.
Happy to. We'll pull item A, the minutes of the regular meeting of October the 21st, 2025. Vice Mayor Wooten, would you amend your motion to approve all items with the exclusion of item A?
Absolutely.
Do I hear a second?
I will second.
Any discussion?
Donna, congratulations on your.
Wait, we're gonna vote on this first and then come back to A, right?
No, Ms. Burdine, if you have any comments on any item except for item A,
No,
you're
I don't,
welcome.
yeah.
I want to comment on item one.
That would be fine. You could comment on item A if you, we don't have to pull it.
Don't want to vote on the rest of it.
Okay. Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore,
Yes. At this time, we'll take up item A, which has been taken from the consent docket and taken up in regular order. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2025. Do I hear a second?
Second.
At this time, we'll have discussion on this item.
Okay, this is the only way, after reading through the agenda, that I could figure out how to bring this to discussion. Normally on our agendas, there's always been a section for visitors' comments. Last month, there, at the second meeting, there was not. And it was said that then the public could, that 2 members would stay afterwards and speak. The problem is after the meeting was adjourned, the cameras went off, and the public has no way of expressing their concerns that goes in a recorded form if we do not have visitors' comments. And that's not right, because one of the whole purposes of these meetings is letting the public address too. And I think visitors' comments, even though you all can't address them, are a very important thing. And I appreciate 2 members staying after the meeting to talk. I think that is, we can't talk enough. I mean, in politics and at this level, this might be the only level that can actually communicate and not in a civil way, because we know it's not working at the national level. So to not allow visitor comments is, I think, taking away the rights of the citizens to let you all know, because when we speak afterwards, after this meeting, it's just speaking. Nothing gets recorded. Ashley's gone, the camera's off, nothing is recorded of public record. And if the public can't say something that gets recorded, then that ends our way to express ourselves as citizens. Thank you.
I thoroughly agree. I thought it was gonna be recorded, and when I realized it wasn't, I was not happy with that either, because it sounds real backroom to me. I like the format of staying afterwards, because we do get to respond. Because so many times when you're saying something, we're sitting here going, thank you, and it looks like we're not listening. And so I like the being able to have that dialogue, but I also feel like it needs to be recorded, one, so that people can see that, but also it's public record.
Right, it's a public record. It's just like, I couldn't tell everybody how great the new park is. I see kids playing there every day.
Right.
Because guess what? There's no visitors' comments.
With all due respect, the only item that's before the body this time is approval of the
Oh,
minutes.
sorry.
So we've kind of gone beyond the agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Burdine, for your comment on the minutes. Any other discussion on this item? Before us is a motion made by the Vice Mayor for approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st, 2025, seconded by Councilmember Zimmerman. Any more discussion? Seeing no more discussion, Madam Clerk, can you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore,
Yes. At this time, we'll have discussion and possible action to accept and award the bid for the City of Yukon Route 66 illuminated sign RFP to Metro Sign in the amount of $160,360 for a 15-foot sign as recommended by the Community Arts Coordinator. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
So does this, we had talked about at one time having the one like Bethany and War Acres, so we'll no longer be doing that? This is different?
This is the design that was presented by
that you did.
Christina.
Right, so we aren't gonna do the ones like Bethany, War Acres, and El Reno did?
That's correct.
Okay, and so this is a lot more money than the other signs were, so where's that money gonna come from?
We have in the budget, I believe, 100,000, do we not, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Have you identified other sources of funds from, can you illuminate us on that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have funds available that we'll be able to use to do this sign. It's gonna be at 313 East Main. And it will be in place of those signs that they
Right.
were approved when I first got here. And
Right.
we had the issues, so, but yes, we do have the funds.
So what budget is that 100,000 coming out of? Cause I thought it was
100,000 was already in the budget for signs.
4 signs?
Yeah.
And then the 60,000 will come out of what budget?
Well, just the savings that we've had from the other budget.
So you'll bring forward before this
Yes.
is expended, you'll bring a budget amendment that moves from this account to that account?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We've got that identified.
Christina, can you share anything about the bidding process and your evaluation?
Yes, so on October 16th, we had the pre-bid mandatory meeting, and we had 6 companies that attended that. And then during that process, we talked about kind of the scope of work and what was expected and the fabrication and how that all works. And we needed to finalize some things that they brought to my attention because I'm not a sign expert, so they had some questions about some of the fabrication. And so we allowed a conversational period to go on until Tuesday, October 21st. And I had some communication back that some of what I had spec'd the project for wouldn't work. And so I needed to make some changes to that. And it was toward the end of the day on Tuesday. And so they had asked if the bid process could be lengthened. And unfortunately, we couldn't. We had the bid opening on October 31st. I opened the conversation to go until Thursday, October 23rd, and at that time posted the final addendum and the final specs, and then we waited for the bids to come in, and then we had the bid opening on the 31st at 2 p.m. And we had 4 bids that came in.
Does the one that you've recommended here, does it meet all the specs that was in your final specification?
Yes, it's the only one that did. So while we got 4, only 1 met the objective.
Can we vote on this if we haven't done a budget amendment?
So, one of the,
Mr. Chris, can you address us from the microphone, please?
so as the budget is approved, all the capital items are per account. So the administration budget for capital projects, I think the total off the top of my head is 3.7 million. So there is additional funds already in that account. It was 100,000 of it designated to this project, but the budget amendment, if one were presented to you, would likely be from the same account to the same account. So I don't know that one's necessarily required if we choose to use it from that same fund. And we haven't discussed at length, but I believe that'll be from that same
If
That
it's from
same
the,
account.
if it's from the same account, we don't necessarily need a budget amendment, but I'd like to have a memo that
Sure.
identifies where we've achieved cost savings to the council.
Sure.
To say, hey, we've achieved more than $60,000 of cost savings from this capital project, and we're gonna spend it on this. I think that's prudent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just don't want us voting to spend money that we haven't accounted for. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you for the hard work, Christina, you and the team. I know that there were a lot of questions and conversations that came up, and I think getting that information back to all the bidders was extremely critical. Any other discussion on this item?
One other question.
You okay?
I'm good. Suzanne Heggie, 720 Chateau Avenue. So Christina, this question is for you, if that's appropriate. There were 4 bids. You said only one of them met the specifications. Is that the reason for the discrepancy in price on the bids? I mean, there seems to be a huge gap between them, and that was one of my questions, but I think you answered that.
Because we had a different one Friday, and then we changed it to today.
It wasn't meeting the specs, is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah, and when I realized that, I needed to correct it in my recommendation.
Okay.
Because we only had one that met the final specifications.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Hagee. Any other discussion on this item? Seeing no additional discussion, Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Wooten,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Zimmerman,
Yes.
Pillmore,
Yes. Excited to see that sign on Route 66 early next
Did
year.
they have a timeline?
Yes, so, May 1st is the deadline, and most of them, in their bid, said they could get it done before that date. So with weather contingencies and things like that, May 1st is kind of what we're looking at, if not earlier.
Good for summer road trip season. All right. Madam Clerk, do we have any new business this evening?
no mayor.
At this time, we'll have reports from city staff, beginning with the city manager.
None this evening, sir.
Thank you. Now we'll take up reports from city council members. This section's intended for council members to make announcements, recognitions concerning the municipal body or community matters. It's not intended for the conduct of city business by members of the public body. We'll begin with Councilmember Selby.
I just want to say congratulations, Donna. Thank you again for your years of service at Spanish Cove. I know you make a huge difference there. Also, I'm glad to see some of our people back. We've missed you.
Thank you. Councilmember Zimmerman.
I've just got a couple of birthdays to recognize in my family. My stepson just had a birthday. My oldest daughter has one coming up, so happy birthday to them.
Happy birthday. Vice Mayor Wooten.
Donna, always good to see you. Congratulations. That's all I got.
Excellent.
Can I just thought of one.
Nope, it was my turn.
Sorry, I'm going to take Adam's time. He bequeathed it to me. Those of you that know someone that because of all the different things that are happening in our federal government right now and times are hard, there is going to be a community meal that's going to be provided on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. It'll be at Grace Church from 5 to 6:30. If you know someone who needs a meal, there are 3 churches, West Metro Community Church, Grace, and Canadian Valley. You don't have to come in and eat like you're at a soup kitchen. We want you to dine with dignity, and so we'll just hand it to you. I'm not cooking, so it's okay. Y'all can come. I'm serving, and so you just come, pull up, tell us how many in your family, and we give you that many meals. So just, this community, I want to say, has been amazing how they've reached out to all of us at food banks. I run one that doesn't take federal government, and I really didn't know how we were going to survive. And this community, the way they've helped the people, we live in a great place. But if you need food, please let us know. Come to those meals. Mustang has one on Monday nights, so you ought to be able to eat pretty much every night.
Thank you for sharing that. Additionally, on that note, our utility department as well has payment plans available for government employees that have not been paid. So please reach out. Our community and our municipal government is very sensitive to those needs that are real, and we want to care for our neighbors. We have a lot of great events here in November. I'll walk through them happening here in the city of Yukon. Beginning with Christmas in the Park. It begins November 22nd and runs through December 31st. It's nightly from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The location is in our 3 parks that adjoin each other: City Park, Freedom Trail Park, and Chisholm Trail Park. Admission to the park is by donation, and there's additional cost for some things within the park. The train rides are $5, ice skating $13, and there's food trucks as well on certain nights. Opening night is November the 22nd. It kicks off with a 4:30 p.m. mascot dash, followed by a Chill Your Cheeks 5K at 5 p.m., Jingle Walk at 5:30. From 5:30 to 8 p.m., the Kringle Carnival's on. 6 p.m., the gates open for the Christmas lights, and at 7 p.m., the famous drone show. At 7:30, there'll be a prize drawing for the Kringle Carnival. So I encourage you to check that out. All the details are at yukonchristmas.com. And then we're going to have, immediately prior to our next council meeting, on Tuesday, November the 18th, we're going to have a playground bus tour and ribbon cutting for the 4 new playgrounds. Kids age 5 to 12 are invited to tour all 4 new playgrounds on a bus tour that will begin at the Yukon Community Center. First 20 kids registered at yukonok.gov/catalog are guaranteed spots on the buses. All other kids and parents are welcome to join us at the playgrounds. Each playground stop will include playtime on the new playground, an activity, a group picture, and the ribbon cutting. Begins at 2:40 p.m. right after school. Kids arrive at the YCC for a snack and activity. Then from 3:15, buses pick up the kids at the YCC, and the stops are at the new Greenbelt Park over by Redbud, then at Welch Park, Bledsoe Park, and lastly at Dickinson Park. Parents can pick up kids at 5:45 p.m. if they ride the bus, pick up kids at the YCC. And then this evening's executive session has been stricken from the agenda, so at this time we'll adjourn. Immediately following this meeting, public are welcome to attend a open community forum hosted by 2 city council members, Vice Mayor Wooten and Councilman Zimmerman, for 30 minutes to discuss any items related to the city of Yukon that were not included on this agenda. No action will be taken, no votes will be cast related to the city of Yukon in this open community forum. Thank you.